that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one.
Traveler. Okay.
All right, guys. Today we've got a classic sovereign citizen case, but with a twist. This time, the guy actually asked for an attorney. Shocking, right? Maybe it's progress. But don't get your hopes up because he's still deep in that sovereign citizen mindset. Here's the rundown. He was caught driving without a license, had a license plate that literally just said traveler, and, of course, resisted arrest. Because what's a sovereign citizen encounter without some unnecessary drama? Now, what really caught my attention is his interaction with the attorney. It's strange. They're having a really odd, borderline clingy dynamic in court, and I can't tell if it's strategy, confusion, or just plain weirdness. Let me know what you think about the attorney, because this part had me scratching my head. Anyway, this one's pretty entertaining, so let's get into it. What?
She and I have already discussed it on this case, and we just both want you to hear the PC, if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge. Right.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate bearing the word traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide...
Traveler. Okay.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, I'm sorry, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know, did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor. In this situation, it wasn't as if he was intentionally.
Remember, this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes,
so,
I agree.
They ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, it's really, so, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond. Your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberl?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration. We have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police, so I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective.
Are you serious right now? His attorney is actually pulling the race card, and believe it or not, that's not even the wildest thing happening here. I mean, aside from that, she's basically smothering this sovereign citizen like it's her full-time job. It's honestly bizarre. I don't know if this woman is his lawyer or his mom, but the way she's clinging to him in court is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever seen an attorney act like this? Because I'm genuinely at a loss here. And let's talk about the actual case. How are you going to argue the police didn't have probable cause when they literally told him to get out of the car and he refused? Newsflash. If the cops say get out, you get out, especially when they have a legit reason. And come on, the guy had a license plate that just said, traveler. That kind of says it all. Look, I get it. Sovereign citizens have their own, let's say, creative interpretations of the law, but even the judge isn't buying this defense. And it's not just any judge, it's Judge Furr. He's not known for handing out freebies, and I doubt he's going to start now. Especially considering this guy skipped court like the law just doesn't apply to him. Like, dude, you can't just pretend none of this is happening, and then to just pull the race card on top of everything? Yeah, there's no way this guy is walking away from this one. Let me know what you think about him, but more importantly, what do you make of this attorney? Because I swear the way she's babying him, it's giving serious overprotective mom energy. All right, let's dive back in. This one's wild.
All defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by which of way I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
Not right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberlane, I'll reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy
I
today.
think the case is only 3 months old,
Yes,
so
sir.
you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young Black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over.
All right, this might be a hot take, but I've got to say, I'm actually pretty disappointed that Judge Fleer didn't hit this guy with the book. Now, I'm not saying we need to go full law and order on every sovereign citizen out there, but come on. This dude literally skipped court, resisted arrest like his life depended on it, and was cruising around with a license plate that looked like it was made in Microsoft Paint. In most cases, failing to appear in court can lead to additional charges, or even a contempt warrant. And resisting? That's a whole separate charge on top of whatever he was already facing. This would have been the perfect case to send a stronger message, but instead, he basically got a slap on the wrist. In my opinion, that was a major missed opportunity, but honestly, what I still can't get over is how his attorney was just smothering him in court. That has to be one of the strangest things I've ever seen. I don't really know who she is. I've never seen her in a courtroom before, but the way she was hovering over him, unprofessional, to say the least. I know this case took place in Texas, and maybe that's just how things roll down there. I don't know. If you're from Texas, let me know in the comments, but to me, it just felt off. This guy barely even spoke. The attorney did all the talking for him, and not in a good way. She even pulled the race card, and honestly, that felt like a complete reach. I'm not racist or anything, but in this context, bringing race into it felt wildly misplaced. Like, dude had a traveler plate. Anyway, I'll wrap it up here because this whole case is starting to make me lose brain cells. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And please, drop a comment and let me know what you thought about this attorney. That's the part that stuck with me the most, and I'd love to hear your take on it. Thanks for watching, and take care, everybody.